Hello everyone, hopefully you're comfortable. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I hope you're well wherever you are. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. I'm Eleanor. Thank you for joining me on this video. As you can tell by the title, this is my birth story, my C-section story in the UK. And I just want to preface, disclaim, it's like 9 o'clock at night. I actually wasn't planning on filming this video today, but my daughter's just gone to bed and I've realised that I don't know when I'm actually going to have a chance to film this. Basically, we're moving cities in a few days and I need to film a video, and it clicked that I hadn't filmed my birth story yet. No, that's a lie. To be completely transparent, I have filmed this birth story before. I edited it. Postpartum, I'm struggling with my body and my image and my face and just not liking what I see, and I deleted it. And it's so funny because like a month later, here I am, I'm ready for bed, like I'm about to go to bed. I've taken my makeup off, got moisturiser on, I was ready to just get into bed, and then I was like, I just had that wave of energy, like I just want to film this video, I need to get this video out. If you're watching this video like, why does Eleanor look so rough? Yeah, it's because it's bedtime. So here I am. I did have to make a beverage for the occasion. This is going to be a really informal, chatty video, kind of like the last one I did, so don't feel like you need to watch this. There might be some clips in here of the birth or something like that. I have tried. Everything's packed, so this is the best that we're going to get. But I do just want to give a disclaimer and say that I am going to be very honest about my birth story, and I just want to express how lucky I am and how grateful I am. I need to say that I am going to be talking about babies and having a child and giving birth, or not really giving birth because I had a C-section, but you know what I mean. If this is going to trigger you or you're going to find this hard to watch, please just don't. Please don't watch it. I have lots of other videos on my channel. It doesn't taste the same without Baileys in it. Yeah, shall I? I'm gonna put some Baileys in it. Right, we will get into the video. I just, like with all my chatty videos since pregnancy and now mum brain, I've made notes on my laptop, so if I'm looking off into the distance, it's because I'm just making sure I'm including everything. I had my daughter in September, it's now January. So here we are, finally. This is my birth story. This is a positive birth story. I had a C-section from a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is I have a large fibroid that's in the way of the birth route, the birthing route basically. It was in my daughter's way. No one really talks much about the pre-op, so I want to talk a little bit about the pre-op first in case anybody's interested. So mine was booked for the end of August, and I had this date for a while before I had my actual C-section date. So I knew when my pre-op was, but I didn't know when the C-section was, which is a little bit anxiety inducing. The pre-op was an in-person appointment. Me and my husband went, and there was a student nurse and the midwife. They went through exactly what would happen on the day, give you a chance to ask questions. I did blood test, weight, blood pressure, COVID test, urine test, probably more tests, I just forgot. When you're at the end of the pregnancy, you're just like waddling around like, what the hell is going on? Okay, I've done it, I think. Then I was given my omeprazole, which is what you take the night before your C-section, and then you take some the morning of your C-section. I also just want to say I feel I was really lucky that I was really relaxed around my C-section right before it. I've had operations before, I've had, not many, I've had general anaesthetics, I've had anaesthetics and things like that before, and I don't have anxiety, I don't have any health anxiety or medical anxiety, so I just want to preface that I understand the weight of the situation is quite big and it can be really daunting and really scary, but the staff and people should do their best to try and calm you. I know there's a lot going on. So my pre-op was on a Friday, and I found out at the same time my C-section was going to be the following Friday, which is the day before my actual due date. So that's quite crazy because you're thinking, oh my gosh, like what if the baby comes before? And if that happens, you do just ring up your maternity unit, I think, and just say, look, I'm meant to have a C-section, but I'm having my baby now and they should give you a C-section. Should. Yeah, I actually then got a phone call a few days later to say that they changed the date. I think they were expecting more C-sections than usual, so they had to make my C-section the day before. I think we found out on the Monday that it wasn't going to be the Friday, it was going to be the Thursday, something like that. So me and Feisal were like, oh what? That was wild. The night before, I had a big roast dinner that we cooked because I just wanted a nice big hearty meal. I was going to get takeaway, but then I thought, no, I actually want to just pump my body with really nutritious and healthy and filling foods, especially iron as well, because you're going for a C-section. So I just had loads of broccoli and stuff like that.
We are making a roast, and guys, I can't concentrate. I've not ruined, but normally with my carrots, there's garlic, peppers, onions, everything going on, and I've just cooked the carrots with seasoning basically. You know, we've got other stuff going on, and we've got Yorkshire puddings. I'm having a baby tomorrow, so not really concentrating.
It was quite a chaotic time cooking a roast dinner when you know you're having a baby the next day, and me and Feisal were on our own because we didn't have any family nearby, so we were just like Then I had a bath, I checked my bags were packed, I made sure, well, I didn't make sure, Feisal made sure for me because I couldn't move, that the flat was clean and tidy, and we went to bed, but I didn't sleep. I was just so excited and apprehensive.
Look at the state of me. No, it's giving very pregnant. I'm just having some strawberries. I'm sat on an exercise ball, if you can hear that. I've just had a bath, and in 20 minutes I need to take an omeprazole tablet, but I'm really excited too because I think it might help with my horrific heartburn. Just doing this now.
The morning of, so my C-section was booked for the morning slot. I got up at 5 a.m. We needed to be at the hospital for 7:30. It takes about 10-15 minutes to drive there, but I got up that early because I really wanted to have enough time. I mean, when you're pregnant, you're exhausted anyway, so you may as well just get up really early. I wanted enough time to take my painkillers, have a shot of espresso. I think I did my hair, my skincare.
Good morning, it's about 5:30. I'm dressed. I've made 2 shots of espresso. And at 6 o'clock I'm going to take paracetamol, drink a Lucozade, and then at 7 I need to take my second omeprazole tablet. But I thought if I can get a coffee in and something, I'll be okay. But I'm so hungry. I've woken up really hungry. So, but yeah, final outfit before baby girl's here.
I made sure like the bed was made and everything like that. I just wanted that time, knowing that that was going to be the last time I was going to be only having to think about myself, really. It was crazy, so I just wanted to kind of lap it up for one last time. So I do really recommend waking up and just giving yourself that time, because the last thing you want to do is have to rush to the hospital if you don't need to. I know people rush to the hospital when they're having babies because they're going into labour, but if you're having a C-section or you're going to be induced or something, just don't rush, because you'll probably forget something. I felt like I had hours and hours and hours of time in the morning, and I really enjoyed that I did that. Also, doing my skincare and my hair and getting dressed and taking my time really calmed me down, because it just felt a lot more normal. Please say he's gonna make biscuits because that's so cute. We then got an Uber to the hospital, and I've got some videos, so if I can find them I'll slot them in here because Feisal was so funny.
I posted a picture on my stories yesterday of me with a massive moustache. People are concerned it's a new style that I'm actually doing.
I was so calm. I feel like that is often the case, that the actual mother is just like calm, just dealing with it, and the father's just absolutely going like when Faisal's overwhelmed with emotion, he like giggles and cries. It's really cute. So he was very much like that.
You get it.
Honestly, I feel like I'm taking shrooms.
And at the hospital it felt really funny because I've been going to the women's in Liverpool for years now. I've been to A&E however many times for my periods and endometriosis symptoms, gynae appointments, surgery for endo, MRI scans for my foot, pregnancy appointment scans, then now I'm walking in to have my baby. It was just so surreal. It's like that hospital in particular has seen so much of my pain. Yeah, I just want to quickly mention how wild must that be for the father. Like, surely he must feel so helpless. Anyway, we found the delivery suite finally. We were both just so chaotic, we couldn't find it, and this midwife, I think, or nurse, bless her, was like, "Are you guys all right?" And we were like, "Okay, kind of baby, I'm waddling." Faisal's like, it was just We found the delivery suite finally. We found out we were third on the list, so we had to wait for 2 more people to go before us, which was fine, obviously, but that just kind of makes it a lot longer. And you're so hungry when you're pregnant. You're most likely, especially in your 3rd trimester, quite hungry, and you go in there and you are thinking, oh, I hope I'm first. The people before us, they were having twins, so that makes sense. Completely. I really enjoyed it in there, actually. I was having a right old laugh with the staff there. It was great, just chatting about things. We got to know the couples next to us, and I kind of wish that we exchanged numbers or social media, because it'd be really nice to see how they're progressing and how their babies are growing. It's weird, you're kind of sat down in these massive chairs in the delivery suite. I was up quite a bit having various meetings. You're meeting the surgeons, midwives and anaesthetists. You're filling out consent forms, so obviously you're signing your life away again. Blood pressure, blood tests, all this kind of thing. You're having quite a lot of tests and it's just a bit chaotic. So we got there at 7:30 in the morning, and finally at about 12:30 we were told that it was time. It's time! I went to put on my compression socks, had 50 million wheeze, put the gown on, and then you just walk into theatre. And because it's so routine for the staff doing it, you're just having completely phatic conversation, just sort of, oh, so where are you from? Like, what do you do for a living? Really, yeah. And I do have to say, I really just want to say that the staff who did the C-section and everything around that at the women's, when I was there, were brilliant. I could not, why am I getting emotional? I could not have had a better experience. As far as well, they were just fantastic, and I was apprehensive only because I've unfortunately had to deal with medical negligence over the past few years. I now have a disability because of it, so I'm a little bit triggered. So the fact that everyone was so welcoming and lovely was great. We were chatting to the theatre team, we're just cracking jokes, and I genuinely felt really relaxed, probably because I was just so tired. I just didn't have the energy to feel anything else. I was told to sit on the bed, and every member of staff introduced themselves and said, hi, my name's so-and-so, nice to meet you, I'm going to be the one doing this, and everyone's telling you what they're doing, and it's really nice. Yeah, it calmed me down even more because I knew exactly who the people were and what they were doing, and because it's very overwhelming, you're walking into this room and there's apparatus and whiteboards and like people everywhere. It is a bit crazy, and so to know what people are doing really helps. And I think as well it helped Feisal know what was going on, and bless him. I was sat down, I was like, slice me open and get this baby out, let's go. Feisal sat down and he was like looking at everything all around, like I just saw his face like a little deer in a headlights. Then it was time for the epidural, and it took ages. I think it took a few attempts because Feisal seemed quite concerned. So you're sitting on the edge of the bed, they give you like a pillow, and you have to bend over so it can get to your back, but try bending over with a massive bump. It's just, you can't. So you're like, God, you can't really breathe, and then in your head you're like, look at the baby squish. They're not, they're fine. Yeah, it went really quiet as well, and you could hear kind of like, you can hear people's breathing change, and I just thought, oh, something's going on here, it's not quite doing what it should do. But then it happened and it was okay, and I was like, oh, finally. It was wild. I couldn't move myself. I'm like, okay, well, I can move this, but my legs, can't move them. That was crazy. It took a few attempts to ensure that I was numb. I wasn't properly numb. So for this, they have this cold spray, and I had to tell them when I could no longer feel it. And you're supposed to be numb, obviously, up here. And basically, I was still feeling it around the area that was going to be sliced open. So I think they had to inject me with a bit more. And in the end, they thought, oh, I can't inject with anything more. So then they had to tilt me up. I've never heard anybody talk about this. You're like lying down, they like lift your legs up. Actually, I can't remember, I couldn't feel the legs. I don't know why I'm talking about what my legs were doing, didn't know what they were doing. For the drugs to numb me all the way up to here or whatever, they had to tilt me, so all the blood rushed to my head. Oh, I was remembering it now. It's not horrendous, it's not nice, I have to say. It's quite uncomfortable, and it's a little bit scary because you're feeling like you're gonna pass out. So all the blood was rushing to my head. I felt like I was upside down because I was basically like that. It made me very nauseous, very dizzy. I remember saying, I think I'm going to pass out. And so they then gave me anti-sickness, then they're pumping me with other stuff. That didn't work for a while. So yeah, I think as well I was in a fasted state as well, so I hadn't eaten anything. There was no like, I don't know, sugars in my body to like, ooh, perk me up. I was just like, I'm hungry. It wasn't great. It then meant that I was in no state to do skin on skin because I was just out of it. I wasn't unconscious or anything, but I certainly wasn't all there. I was really like that, and I felt so sick. And when you're like almost upside down and you feel like you're going to be sick, that's not nice. Oh yeah, I've skipped ahead, sorry. But for the procedure, I lay down, the screen was put up, and they rubbed something all over my tummy for ages. I don't know what it was, but they were just rubbing all this stuff, and it just felt like someone was doing that. It's all a bit strange sensation, but I was numb, so it just felt weird. They were talking about my star sign tattoo, because I have like a Cancerian symbol here, and they were like, when did you get that tattoo? And I was like, oh, like years ago. Why? And they were like, it's kind of on the C-section line, like where they cut. I was like, oh, when I got that tattoo, I wasn't even thinking about having kids. So I was like, if you need to cut there, like it's fine, it's just a tattoo. I'd just get on the other side or something, it's fine. But they actually didn't. My scar, it goes long like that, and it actually like just misses a tattoo. It's really sweet. That's actually, the more I think about it, that's really lovely, because for them to save them time and energy, they could have just cut the tattoo, but they didn't. Aww, I'm really deep in that now. Why is that making me emotional? That's really nice that they did that. Sorry, let me just calm down. God, I'm gonna look even more ugly if I get emotional, because I've like, it's the end of the day. Why am I filming myself looking like this for the internet? Oh, it doesn't matter. Who cares? No one actually cares, do they? And we made a playlist for the C-section, and me and Feisal put some of our favourite songs ever in there, and songs I'll never get sick of. if you want it, I'll leave it linked in this video, because I do think it's a really cool playlist. You've got things like the Verve, but then you've got like Becky Hill. It's just, it's songs that mean a lot, but also songs that we just love. The staff loved it. I had Love at First Sight by Kylie on there. Like, the anaesthetist was singing it. They're like, this is great. I was like, yes. Well, you know when someone compliments a playlist you've made, it's like actually the biggest compliment ever. So I do recommend that, but also you can just play the radio. You don't need to play anything, but yeah, Feisal brought in a Marshall Bluetooth speaker. We played it on that. So yeah, I had that memory. Whoa. Every time I listen to that playlist, it's just great. Oh, and also one of the members of staff, he was the one administering me with like anti-sickness drugs, was Egyptian. And I think he heard Feisal's name or saw Feisal's name. You know, in my C-section, how did you find out that the man giving me the drugs was Egyptian? How did that come about? Did you hear your name, or what was it?
No, you just said something in an Arab accent.
Oh, you said, what did you say?
I swear you said you think he's Egyptian. And I said something like, Inta Masri? Which means, are you Egyptian?
Oh, you just asked him?
Yeah.
He did look Egyptian.
Yeah.
He smelled really nice, didn't he?
Yeah, he smelled great.
But that was that, and that was really funny because they had like this little like bonding moment. But yeah, Feisal managed to get photos and videos on his new camera, which was amazing. Momma by Spice Girls came on, and I started tearing up because why can't I talk about this without crying? My mum used to sing it to me, and I used to sing it to her in like the 90s, obviously when it came out, because I'm a 90s baby. So I put that song in the playlist because my mum had me by C-section, and I was her firstborn. So I was like, my firstborn's the C-section, and I'm gonna have Momma by Spice Girls on. It was just so beautiful.
After the delivery, usually these bigger smoking stops and they start switching.
Yeah, it was just like such a full circle moment. That's crazy. We have it all filmed. I mean, I'll treasure it forever. The C-section was narrated by the staff, so I knew exactly what was going on as it was happening. He then said, we're a few minutes away now, and I was like, oh my God. I was like that, I was like, what? And before I knew it, she was here. She just came out. They let down the screen so I could see her, and Feisal took some photos, and she was born to Just Like Heaven by The Cure. Yeah, Feisal took photos, videos. It was so crazy, like seeing and hearing this human that I created after all these months. I will never, ever forget that feeling. If I could bottle up that feeling and sell it, I would, because it was such a short moment in time, but that feeling I just can't explain. It's like sudden rush of like overwhelmingness. I can't put it into words. I really can't. That was probably my favourite moment of my life. I can't even exactly fully remember it now, like when it happened. I just know it happened, but it's the feeling that I feel that I remember. She was born at 13:13, which I think is a really cool time to be born. So bearing in mind we went in around like 12:30 and she was born at 30 minutes past 1. That's how quick it is. And bearing in mind they couldn't get the epidural in me straight away as well. The actual cutting me open to get her out was probably 10 minutes, I think. The longest part about the C-section was the bit afterwards, like sewing me back up and sorting all of that out, like making sure my organs are all right, I don't know, but that took a long time. There was like tugging and pulling, and whilst that was going on, I still felt really sick, and I wasn't really fully like conscious. And I think I held her, well, not held her, she was put on me for maybe a couple of seconds, and I felt really sick again. She had to be taken off me. So Feisal went over to like cut the cord, which he was nervous about doing before, but he did it. Actually, that's something I really want to mention, is seeing how nervous Feisal was before, but then when it was actually happening and I was being cut open, he was fine. He was just so fine with it, and he went over to like cut Athena's cord and check her over, take some photos and stuff. And I think he turned around at one point to look at me, and he saw like the inside of like my organs, basically. He saw inside of my tummy, and he was just fine. He was like, oh, like he just wasn't worried. And I don't know whether like something like switched as soon as like Athena was coming out, and he was just like, okay, that's life. But it was really nice, because then Feisal had that chance to do skin on skin and really have that moment with her, because obviously it's different. Like she grew in my tummy, so like I have that bond. But it was nice for him to have that moment with her as well, because I want them to be really close. But one thing I want to say, he won't mind me saying this, but Feisal was so annoying, because I was like, bearing in mind I was tilted, I couldn't hear anything because there's a lot of noise going on, the music's going on. I had like the thing on my head, and it was like kind of covering my ears, and I'm like kind of like upside down anyway, so like everything's just kind of blocked. And all I heard was this agitated. I just heard Ellie, 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 and I can't, because I feel so sick, I like can't really turn, I couldn't turn my head to like see what he was doing, so I was like kind of like straining my eyes a bit. I was like, what? He was just trying to tell me stuff, and I just wanted to, oh, just shut up, because it was Ellie, Ellie, Ellie. Anyway, I just need to mention that because I forgot how funny that was. Not at the time, but looking back. Do you remember that?
Oh.
You know, because I was like kind of tilted like that because like the numbing stuff didn't work. So I was like not really fully conscious. And I felt really sick, and I couldn't turn my head, and I couldn't really hear anything. And all you were doing was, Ellie, Ellie, look, Ellie. And I was like, shut up.
Oh, when you said birth story, I thought you meant your birth. I was like,
why would I do a video of my birth story? I don't remember my birth.
oh, no.
Now you know what I'm... Wait, what did you think I was talking about?
I don't know, you're bringing story of your life.
I can't fit that into a YouTube video.
Feature length.
Also, the questions that they ask that I just didn't think were going to get asked, like her ethnicity. And it took me and Feisal, we were like, oh, yeah, and they were asking, what is her ethnicity? And we were like, well, mixed. But I never thought about the heritage, ethnicity questions. But obviously that's what gets noted down, right? To identify her, but yeah. It was weird. After stitching me up and avoiding my tattoo, the surgeon asked when he will see me for the next one. I thought, oh my gosh, not soon. I did not enjoy being pregnant. But yeah, anyway, they moved me onto a different bed, into the recovery ward. I had some water. I then put Athena on my breast to feed, and basically the midwife did it. I was like, I was like, that's crazy, can't feel my legs in some random bed. The midwife just grabs Athena, gets my tist out, and just starts like expressing for me. And I'm like, well, I'm feeding her. That's cool. Because I got some colostrum, but actually feeding her was like, this human's mine. Like, she's mine. She fed instantly. She was like, give me that colostrum. I didn't even have this, oh wow, I'm a mum. And that moment never, and hasn't really ever happened. It just felt like it was meant to be. It felt so normal, and I feel really, really lucky that I got that. I know that doesn't always happen. To be honest, I think all I was thinking of in that moment was, can I just eat now? I just need some food. Once the midwives were happy that the baby had fed and that my wound looked okay and I was bleeding okay, it was then time to move on to the normal ward. Oh, also, they do this thing. I know they have to, but so I've just been sliced open, just been stitched up. They come and they like squash your bump out to like get this blood out. Oh, the pain. Oh, the pain. Like, you've just been sewn up. You've still got a bump. Like, the baby's not in there, but you've still got this like sack. And they like just, it's like that. They're not like that, but they're quite firm pressing it down. I think they need to see that you're bleeding okay. But that, oh my gosh, I know you have to be that aggressive, but do you have to be that aggressive? You know, people talk about tea and toast when you've had a baby. It's so glorious. Do you know what? It's just the fact that it was like instant coffee, which I don't like. Thick white bread, butter and jam. I had all 4 slices at once. She was there feeding, I was eating the toast. Oh my God, it was actually the nicest meal of my life. I'm not even exaggerating. I think that was the nicest meal of my life. Also, you're eating this toast and you have that moment of realisation of like, oh my God, I've just had a baby. After I had a drip of, I think it was oxytocin. It could be wrong, but I think it might be oxytocin because basically I didn't give birth vaginally. So the body wasn't aware that I had given birth to something. So you have this hormone drip to tell the body it's time to start thinking of making milk. Because I did wonder. So I didn't know I had this oxytocin drip until like the next day. I thought, why am I in such a good mood? I know I've like had a baby, but I've had major surgery. I'm exhausted. I'm in agony. I'm hungry. I'm tired. There's so much going on. But why am I in such a fantastic? I was like, I think that was oxytocin. That's what it was. So it was tricking my body into thinking, oh, wow, the baby's here. Okay, let's make milk. Isn't that crazy? I think that's bloody brilliant. Really, really cool, actually, that happens. So it must have been the drip making me such a good mood. I had painkillers, lots. Anything that was offered to me, I just said yes. Somebody told me to just accept everything. And that is my tip as well. Accept it all. Obviously, you do you, you know your body. Even if you're feeling all right, you don't want to then be crying in pain to press a buzzer on a busy ward and then waiting a long time for someone to come and help you, because that's one thing I did notice. Even though our ward didn't look very busy, every time I pressed the buzzer, Feisal did have to go and kind of say, like, please can we get some help? So every 4 hours when they come around with more painkillers, just my tip would be, personally, obviously do what you want to do, but just say yes, because you just don't want the painkillers to wear off and then you're sat in pain. Because if you're late taking painkillers, and trust me, I've been there, and you realise how much pain you're in, it's really hard. And I have an extremely high pain threshold, and I was like, whoa. I had a catheter put in. I think everybody does when they've had a C-section, just to obviously help your bladder. Something to do with helping your bladder, I think. I'm not sure. I'm really sorry. I'm not very clued up with the science of these things, but for some reason, when it's something I've been through, I don't actually like to know the ins and outs because it makes me feel weird. And because I drink so much water, they had to empty it all the time. It's really funny. Feisal and the nurses and the canteen staff will constantly bring me water. That's a really good tip, though. I just drink as much as you can. You need to show that you can wee normally without the catheter in. I'm jumping ahead, but yeah, you need to show that you can wee a substantial amount properly before they discharge you, so that they know your bladder's okay. It was fine, actually, the catheter, but it was only uncomfortable when I wanted to move, and I still had numbness in my legs until like the late afternoon. I wasn't actually ready to walk until the early evening, so that's weird, like trying to like move around and you just can't. I was really, really well looked after all day until about 7 p.m, and it was the change of shift. If that was the right time that the shift changes. The nights, and again, this is just my experience. I don't know what was going on, or I'm not sure what people are going through. This is just my experience. It felt like the night staff just weren't bothered at all. And it was the only negative experience about this whole positive C-section story was the night staff. I was left soaking in my own blood for quite a while because I was told by them that I wasn't bleeding, when in fact I was. And it was a lot, because they do this thing where they press on the bump and the blood flushes out. They did that to me again and they said nothing came out, but I looked down and there was a lot there. It took them ages to come. They left me to change my own pads, which I couldn't physically do myself, and Feisal tried to help me, but he didn't know what to do, obviously, and he didn't want to do anything wrong or hurt me by accident. So obviously he had to keep leaving me to chase staff for help, and he had to say, look, I'm really sorry, but you've left my wife covered in blood. And they had to change all the sheets. I had to get out and they had to give me completely fresh sheets because there was just blood everywhere. So that wasn't nice. And then I physically was in too much pain to because you have to get your leg over the catheter, and then obviously you're taking pants off, and it's just not nice. It's uncomfortable. And at one point I was so nauseous again that I knew I was going to pass out. I think this happened twice, and then I said to Feisal, I'm going to pass out. I am going to pass out. And I was like that. And you know when you feel all cold but hot at the same time, and your head is heavy and hot and tingly, and you're like that, and you feel sick, and you know you're going to pass out. Oh, it's horrible, isn't it? I was hanging over the edge of the bed, and I was like, Feisal, I need some anti-sickness, because this is that's one of the worst I've felt. It also takes a while to even get to hanging over the edge of a bed, because A, you've been numb, but also you're in serious pain. I was hanging over the bed with my head on the table, bleeding, because they just left me obviously in my own blood, and I couldn't change my pad. And then Feisal came back with a nurse who put the pad on for me and then injected me with anti-sickness, and then she then said, oh, there's no blood where I've injected, and just left us. And then A couple of seconds later, there was a big pool of blood on Athena's cellular blanket that I was like holding her in. So her blanket was just covered in blood. So I had to get a new one. It was a bit of a joke. I know that's not the worst thing that's happened, by the way, but it wasn't. It didn't need to happen. If she'd just stayed there for one more second, she would have seen that there was a lot of blood. But I get that people are busy and tired. It was nice that Feisal could be on the ward with me. I thought he was going to have to leave at 10. I was a bit scared because it was my first baby and I have a disability in my foot, so that, like, with everything, I don't know, I was just quite anxious. But he was able to stay with me the entire time, which was great. And my mum came up that afternoon to stay at mine to look after Turts, the firstborn, our cat, by the way. Yeah, we ordered a Waggers because Faisal's like, you've just had a baby, what do you want to eat? I'll get you anything. Because of all the painkillers you're injected in and you've just had surgery and the anaesthetic, I think it's the anaesthetic, you're actually not that hungry, and all I wanted was broccoli. So Feisal ordered a Waggers. I just got the green veg side dish. I drank loads of pop, but for some reason just was like, I need fizzy drinks. Feisal got 20 minutes of sleep. I got no sleep. We were so relieved when it was 7 a.m. and the switch of staff happened. It was a really long night. I'm sure I'm missing out a lot of details, but I just don't really want to remember it. At 7, they gave me a pot and took out the catheter and said, at 10, go and have a wee. But by like 20 past 7, I was like, you're joking, I'm ready to go. You have to wee in this like one of those brown pots to like a certain level to be discharged. I did that straight away because I just drink so much, as I said. I gave it to the nurse and she was like, you've made my job so easy. I was like, welcome. I'm thirsty again. I think this is like TMI, but I actually peed more than I lost blood, which is crazy because one of the risk factors for me was I could have bled a lot. And they were telling me about if you lose too much blood and they can like suck it up and drain it and put it back into you. Because I have a fibroid, a large fibroid, the chance of me bleeding a lot was really high. But it didn't happen, so really lucky, really lucky. Anyway, lots of staff came around in the morning and did checks on Athena. They did hearing tests, jaundice tests, seeing if any referrals need to be made. For us, she had tongue tie, which is a whole other story. I will do a video on that when I'm ready to talk about it. She had talipes in her left foot, which basically her foot was like, instead of her foot being like that, it was a bit like that. And I think it's because she was, oh my god, I can't even remember the name where the head's first. Her head was down. What's that called? I've forgotten everything now. I think it's from, so basically, obviously babies move in the womb, but Athena was like head first for like basically the whole pregnancy. Her head was down. She was ready to come out. She was like, come on, let me out. So her feet were up here for the whole pregnancy and she didn't stop kicking. She was like, I'm not joking you. People thought I was exaggerating when I was pregnant, saying she doesn't stop. Now that she's born and people see how she doesn't stop moving, my mum's like, I've never seen a baby move like that. She doesn't stop kicking. She was a big baby. She wasn't a small baby. So I think her left foot just kind of like bent out of shape. She was just kicking so much. I thought she had a clicky hip as well. She didn't, or whatever. We were given the red book. But yeah, just lots of stuff coming and doing checks, which actually made me feel really, it reassured me because I thought, oh, they're really like checking everything, hearing tests, all these kind of things. It was crazy. I also had my temperature and blood pressure checked every 4 hours, I think. During this time, I was given a prescription for my medication. By midday, I'd eaten my lunch. I was ready to go home. I was walking. She was born at 13:13 and by midday the next day I was ready to go home. It's like 24 hours after she'd been born, I was like, let's go home. I was really lucky that I was thinking, let's go. However, we didn't leave till like 7 p.m. that night. It took us that long to be discharged. There was nothing wrong with me. Athena was fine. She was feeding. We just had to wait that long for her little prescription of vitamin K oral drops, and that's what we were waiting for 7 hours. And it was a bit ridiculous. And we were saying, look, she doesn't need the vitamin drops now. She doesn't need them now. She doesn't take them for another 7 days. So can we just come at a later date and pick up the prescription, please? We really want to go home. And I don't want to be there. I want to be home. And I knew that my mum had a bottle of Moe waiting for me here. So, and I was going to get a takeaway. So I was like, just go home. That was the worst part. Basically, Feisal, bless him, had to just chase staff around the hospital saying, please, can someone we just needed that prescription and someone to just sign a thing. Eventually someone came to sign something. We were still waiting for this prescription. We were like, oh my god. And I know you can just legally discharge yourself. And I was thinking, Feisal, if it gets any later, I'm not gonna go because I can't barely walk, but you know what I mean. We were also taking up a bed that we didn't need, and you know the situation, like, just let us go. Feisal basically had to just take it into his own hands and just find someone to say, he was begging me, please just let us leave. And I think if Feisal wasn't assertive, we would have been in there probably another night, I think. That's crazy thinking about it. I'm so glad that he is the way he is. I was too tired and stressed, whatever, and Feisal is so so good at just making things happen. He has no problem going and speaking to someone, and he's never rude, he's never horrible, he's just very upfront. And I think what happened was, after like literally 7 hours of begging to be let go, I think he was walking back from speaking to them, the midwives, and he must have looked deflated because somebody asked him if he was okay, and he basically said like no, we our papers have been signed, like, we just want to be discharged, we just need this prescription, like we just want to go. And this woman was like, oh, no problem, I'll sort it. And I was like, what? By the time Feisal got back into the curtains to start to tell me that story, she had gone into our little cubicle and gave us a prescription, and she's like, okay, good luck, see ya. We were like, what? Like, it was literally that easy. She's like, yeah, the prescription was just sitting in a box. And we were like, oh my god, like all that time. Anyway, no one came to check if she was in a car seat, no one came to check how we were getting home or anything like that. They just said, are you okay? We said, yeah, and we brought the car seat in, but we didn't put her in the car seat. I held her and like waddled back through the hospital with my mum and Feisal. So we just left on our own accord, basically. We walked past all these staff and we just kind of said bye. No one really did anything. It was a strange feeling. I carried my daughter, my mum and Feisal carried car seats and bags, and I felt so delirious leaving, holding her. Like, she's so new, and she was getting loads of attention from staff and visitors, and I was just like, I walked in here like yesterday with her in my tummy, and I'm just like, she's here and I'm holding her. That was crazy. We went to go and pay the car parking. I grabbed a sugary drink because I was a bit like dizzy on my feet and I was panicking because I was holding her, and she's my baby. And then we left. Also, mamas, I need to say, please, post C-section, whoever's driving you home, please make sure they drive slow and avoid speed bumps if you can. My mum did this to me because she remembered she had 3 C-sections, and she remembers how horrible it is going over a speed bump after C-section, and it was painful driving home, I can't lie. You're holding onto your tummy, but you're also holding on to like your car seat with this new life that you've made in it. And it was a wild ride home, and for us it was only about 10-15 minutes. And then we got home, we popped that bottle of champagne. My mum had decorated the entire apartment with like balloons and banners, and she'd got his bits for us, and Turts was there, and Turts saw our cat. He was like, what is that? And at first we were like quite scared, but he just came and like sniffed her and just walked off and got some dreamies. I don't think he's never been that bothered since, which I'm really lucky. And yeah, then the recovery begins. I think I'll leave this video here. I hope this was of some interest or of some value to you. Good luck to any future mums out there. Feel free to subscribe if you want to. Take care and have a really, really lovely rest of your morning or day, or if like me now it's the evening, I hope you have a really lovely sleep. I'm gonna prep and sterilize some bottles. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.